this week, we have a break between the action. It's a Pro Bowl week. It's a lot of fun. I have the East-West Triangle that I'm a part of, help mentoring some of these young men that have the hopes to be future NFL players themselves. But I'll be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the biggest headline of the week. And I'm not talking about the retirement of the GOAT. Coach Flores, Brian Flores, and his civil suit against the National Football League, and individually, 3 teams. The case has been filed and it's 58 pages long. The NFL was founded in the 1920s. There's always been some sense of unwritten rules, and players and coaches of minority have felt it, have even discussing amongst ourselves, but very few of us have come out and straight up said it, which is why I salute and have a ton of respect for Coach Flores, not only because of the man who he is, because simply what he stands for. Time and time again, frustrations have come up. So it's been a long fight for a very long time. There was a time where there was no black players in the NFL. From the time that segregation was kind of coming to an end and integration was starting to happen amongst civil society, the National Football League had to take on that same look. In that, there was resistance and everybody wasn't as welcoming as other organizations. This thought that somewhat still persists to this day, that the African-American man wasn't smart enough to play the position of the field general of the quarterback. I wanted to play quarterback at one point in my life, and my father, born in 1948, having gone to school through segregation, in his own way wanted me to protect me from that criticism that comes with the position or the letdown of not being able to play. It wasn't until the 1980s where we had our first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl.
Most valuable player of Super Bowl 22 is quarterback Doug Williams of the Washington Redskins.
And yet, that very next year, he would be let go by the organization that he would take to the promised land. In the 1990s, free agency and allowing guys to truly find their value didn't even happen until 1993, where you had to have Reggie White and others like him stand up for what they believe. It wouldn't be into the early 2000s, actually 19 years ago, that the Rooney Rule would be in place. The Rooney Rule was created and implemented as the National Football League to allow black candidates the opportunity to interview for these open jobs. Started out with head coaches, and it's expanded and evolved over the last 19 years to include general managers, vice presidents, and anything of hierarchy that we feel that the opportunities is very limited, and some of these same candidates keep getting recycled because of friendships or the sense of some believe that's just the way to go about doing business. But it was until this week, Brian Flores accuses not only the Miami Dolphins and their owner of tanking games and offering him more money to do so, wasting young men's career, to being let go after 2 winning seasons, to only be let down and disappointed. But what makes matters worse? You have a head coach, a part of another organization, seem to have an inside knowledge and track to what other organizations are going to do and who they choose to be their candidates. So you have these black candidates go around parading around the NFL, doing these interviews, seemingly with the hopes of having a job and a future for themselves, but to only be seen to check a box and to accommodate rules that is implemented that no one seems to respect or even take serious. Brian Flores is onto something, because in 19 years, the National Football League only has one African-American coach at the helms, and he's a pure winner. But even the criticism he receives, it seems pretty unjust. Brian Flores takes a lot of guts and a lot of courage to step out on this, and I'm sure he still wants to be a coach. That's the conflicting thing that we all seem to have to carry. We know things are not right, things do not seem sound, and it doesn't seem fair. The NFL has tried time and time again to hear out what the public is saying to them and screaming out. Sometimes it takes longer, but on top of that, their commodity, their greatest commodity, comes on the back of the players. And at this day and age, 70% of them are of African American descent. That said, the workforce and this ownership do not look alike. Very few of us have a relationship with the executives, so the bridge and the gap is quite large. These billionaires and these owners of these organizations, they're self-made men, and many of them don't like to be told what to do. Head coaches, scouts, players alike, all we need is an opportunity. Hopefully, the National Football League not only learns from this, and we evolve from this all together. The game is great and it has a lot of life lessons in it, but the biggest lesson needs to be learned by us all. If we want the community and the country to evolve and move away from the past, you have to show guys like myself, that was raised by parents that know what segregation looked like and know what hate feels like, to see a brighter day. Because right now, it don't look so sunny.